Welcome to Families in Action on your local hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Cary Quashen. I'm your host, but I don't host it by myself. I have a co-host, Michael Duarte. Michael.
Hello, Cary. How are you?
You know, really good.
Good.
Yeah, I had a great weekend. It was kind of crazy busy, but it was still good. How about you?
Oh, it was great. You know, I got it. You know that honeydew list?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know the honeydew list.
I had an interesting. We have one of those electric fireplaces, very ornate. It looks beautiful, but it's it's fake. Right. Well, the flames froze, and so
So wait a minute. Your electric, beautiful fireplace froze.
The flames froze.
That
so
sounds
I'm
crazy.
looking at it going, what is this? So I contact them and they said, oh, it's a bad motor. We'll send you a new one, no cost. You can install it yourself. Well, it's a small package. It came with instructions. It looked very easy.
Not.
So I spent some time on Saturday but now it looks great again.
Very cool.
I got it going.
Very cool. You know, it's crazy because we see each other all week, and then on weekends we don't.
Right.
And we actually catch up here, sometimes over in the behavioral health unit over at Henry Mayo. But so you can almost like breathe now, you know? It's kind of one of those after the weekend.
And it's funny, I actually missed you last week. We weren't here. We were recorded. We weren't live.
Well, I was going to say, don't tell anybody, but I think everybody already heard you.
So I miss being here with you live and in color.
But you know what? It is a crazy. First of all, Families in Action is brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, which we've been on the air almost 13 years.
Almost 13.
Yeah, over 12 years. Isn't that incredible?
That's pretty cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So we appreciate the ability to be able to give out the information that we do. Knowledge is power, and we have a lot of knowledge that we're giving people. So hopefully it works. Also, we're brought to you by Action Family Counseling, which is substance abuse treatment centers that we own and operate, everything from outpatient to residential treatment programs and everything in between. And Action, the foundation, I'm going to let you talk about that.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question.
Oh, no.
And you know what question I'm going to ask you.
Don't ask.
When are we going to roll out the experience?
Very soon.
Very soon.
Very soon. The truck's just about ready, and we're about ready to do that. It's going to be one more tools in our bag of tricks to fight against substance abuse.
Well, I really think that what I came up with the other week is a good idea. I thought about it further, and I think you ought to consider it. Whenever the experience is not rolling out to schools and places, I really think you should consider using it as a band for the Action. Call it the Action Experience Band.
That's right. What are you going to play?
I did back in the day. I did.
Right. This guy was a TV producer. He had his own show in Alaska.
Yeah.
He was in a band. Are you checking this out?
Yeah, no, it's impressive.
I'm like, whoa.
No, I had some very good friends of mine who
the man with the most,
who had asked me to join their band in Hawaii.
Very cool.
They had a steady gig, and I thought, that sounds nice, but I just got married, so let's not do that.
So, we're talking about the experience and all that, and we're going to tie Keith into something pretty soon and keeping kids out of trouble. And I'm probably going to say this a few times during the show. I think that the Channel 4 News is going to come towards the end because we're doing a special on heroin. Why are we doing a special on heroin? I think you know the answer to that. Because how many overdoses are we having every year now?
What are we looking at now? Over 50,000?
Over 50,000 overdoses a year.
Per year.
And I'm not talking, that's more than car crashes, more deaths than car crashes. And these are deaths that could be stopped.
Absolutely.
So it's just kind of insane. And we're talking about 50,000 overdoses. We're not talking about how many lives drug abuse has taken. We're just talking about overdose.
And this number that we just mentioned, 50,000 drug overdoses, heroin, has become the number one accidental death in America.
Number one accidental.
One.
Yeah, for our young people.
Number one with a bullet, I might add, because that means it's skyrocketing upward.
Yeah, and it's not going to get any better. It's going to get a lot worse. Mike, I've been screaming this now for the last 6 or 7 years.
Well, you did more than that. You were pounding on this console a couple of weeks ago, which is good. We should have you do that more often because people like that. You got really worked up.
Yeah, I get worked worked up.
You should.
And-
Everybody should.
I mean, anybody that kind of hangs out with me just for a day would get worked up. The amount of phone calls that I get, the crises that I deal with, the situations that I see, the lives that have changed and being destroyed over drug abuse. I got a kid living up in the hills right now that because he don't want to go home, because he would rather shoot dope than go live with at his house. I got another kid couch surfing that keeps calling me right now that is so strung out, doesn't know what to do. Hopefully we're going to do an intervention on him tomorrow, which you might be able to actually see on one of the TV stations. So we're going to try to save this kid's life.
A success story,
A
hopefully.
success story. I got a girl that just lost 3 of her children because she was shooting dope while pregnant with the 4th.
Oh.
I mean, I can go on and on and on. It's crazy. I got 2 funerals in the last month that I went to.
And we talk about this all the time. While we've talked about the fact that there are over 50,000 deaths every year, that does not include the impact, this domino effect of somebody dies, they have a wife, they have a husband, they have family, a mom, a dad, sisters, brothers, children that are what? They're all devastated by this.
Well, I don't know anybody that doesn't know somebody affected with substance abuse right now. I don't know anybody. Nobody. Alcohol or drugs.
There you go.
It affects everybody
Yeah, it sure does.
in some way or another. So somebody's using drugs, everybody that loves that person is affected. Somebody.
And it's an epidemic that's growing. It's
Oh man,
increasing in size.
it's serious. We even got the candidates right now, the presidential candidates talking about the epidemic. The White House has declared opiates an epidemic. And anytime you get so many lives that are being lost, I mean, it's one of the number 1 causes of accidental death. That's just insane. But we've been seeing this happen now for the past few years, just kind of creeping up.
And you know, I have to say this, Cary, and I know you agree totally, but the legalization of marijuana is only helping this to get worse.
Well, you got the legalization of marijuana. You got new laws that passed that are dropping having certain amount of drugs from felonies to misdemeanors. So you got all the reasons why people were getting clean in the past. It doesn't work anymore because the reasons are gone. There's no hammer anymore.
Right.
So it's becoming worse with good intentions, but it's just kind of backfiring on us. And this is where I want Keith to come in too, is when we're young, we all have contracts.
Absolutely.
When I grow up, these are things I don't want to do. You know, I want to grow up, I want to be a radio show host or whatever it is, a doctor, cop, lawyer, veterinarian. Everybody wants to do things that help. And then they have the other contracts. I'll never do these things. Remember those?
Absolutely.
I'm not going to use drugs. I'm not going to drink alcohol. I'm not going to this. And I really do believe that all drug abuse starts innocently. It really does. It's first, I'll never smoke cigarettes because it'll kill me. Oh, what the heck, one hit. It's only a cigarette, I won't smoke weed, but it's not really a drug, it's only pot, it's natural. Oh, what the heck, one hit. All the other drugs is what I call drugs of opportunity. Meaning, once you start breaking your contracts, you're smoking a little dope, you're drinking a little booze, you're going to a party, somebody says, try this, you go, no way, I'll never use drugs. Here, have another hit off this joint. You're getting a little more high, and then a sip of tequila, and all of a sudden, your thinking isn't right. Oh, what the heck, I'll take one more hit. Yeah. And some of these drugs out there, it only takes one time to get emotionally addicted.
Right.
Because it feels so good. So that one hit, it's like, oh my God, that's the best thing I've ever felt. How do you tell a 14-year-old kid or a 46-year-old adult that something that made them feel so good is bad? That it's going to turn on them. So what we need to do, we're never going to win the war on drugs. There's always going to be drugs. We're not going to get rid of them. You bust a dealer, another dealer comes. But what we can do is we can change the way our children are thinking about drugs. And that's the most important thing that we can do. Scary part is there's 3 types of kids. Number one, no matter what kind of a mom and dad you are, your kid's a level-headed kid, not going to get caught in substance abuse, not going to drive fast, doesn't want to fight, wants to go to school, take care of business, right? We have a lot of those kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next group of kids, no matter what kind of mom and dad you are, they're high-risk kids. They're going to get themselves in trouble, mischief, period, end of subject. All you can do is really stay on them and maintenance, as much maintenance as you can, and really watch those kids. That's the exception. That's not a lot of them. The next group of kids, and these are the largest groups of kids, this is the largest group, are what you call the fence sitters. The kids that are going to, they sway easy with a lot of parental involvement and good social skills and stuff, they do well. But with a lack of that, they do bad.
Right.
So with all the peer pressure, these kids don't do good. And the problem today is peer pressure is 100 times worse than it's ever been. I mean, we didn't have social media when we were kids. Somebody gets bullied or something, it's all over the internet. And somebody starts using drugs, it's all over the internet. Everybody hears about everything. So the peer pressure is way different. And the scary part about those kids, those are the ones we're losing, is the average parent spends between how long? 2 to 10 minutes speaking to their teenager today. 2 to 10 minutes. How was your day? Good. How was school? It was okay. Do you have any homework? I done it. Are you hungry? I ate. So they go right back in their room. The last thing most children do from 12 up, the last thing they do before they go to sleep is check their Instagrams, right?
Absolutely.
Their Facebook, that stuff. First thing they do when they wake up before they use the restroom, they wake up to their friends on social media. Then they go to school. They're with their friends all day. We come home 2 minutes. How was your day? So we're losing those kids. So I asked Keith to come today because I really think Keith's one of he works over at LA Fitness.
Yeah, we have to introduce him.
I'm going to let you do that.
Background.
Go for it.
You started off, but
well,
yes.
go for it.
He's a personal trainer. Currently
He is.
doing most of his training at Santa Clarita LA Fitness. He's been training for about 5 years. And he's received his training, education, and certification from the National Academy of Sports Medicine. He grew up in various parts of the San Fernando Valley.
Uh-huh.
So I guess he was just a drifter.
It sounds like me.
And Santa Clarita.
Right.
And he's been very physically active in his childhood, playing football and baseballs from the age of 5 through high school. And so his passion for sports and nutrition and helping others is what led him to get into the profession of physical fitness. And he's here with us for a couple of reasons. One,
Now, before you tell us why he's here, now I've been training for a year over at Afterburn, and now I'm over at LA Fitness with Keith. And I'll tell you what, I never seen anything like it. If I get there at 5, he's finishing up a training. He gets me. Right when I'm done, he's got another one. This guy is like busy.
A dynamo.
I've never seen anything like it. Yeah.
Are you in shape? I mean, are you?
I try to be a little
Well,
bit.
I think they can see that. Okay, right? Just a little bit. I plan on passing him really soon.
No, he's working on it, man.
I am working
Kills
on
it every time.
Well, you know, that we've been just talking about, we're just introducing Keith, but one of the sad things, Cary, listen to this, and Keith knows this, children now spend more than 7.5 hours a day in front of some sort of a screen. That's TV, video games, a computer. Holy cow. Now they're in school for part of the time, and they're sleeping for part of the time. That doesn't leave a lot of time to do anything else, does
Yeah,
it?
not very much at all. There's definitely an issue with children being a lot less active than they used to be.
I was talking to Keith before we went on the air, Cary, and you can probably relate to this. Gosh, back in the day when I was a kid, we were always outside. Me and my brother, my sister, we were always riding bikes, playing baseball, basketball, something, making up a game. Who knew? Walking in the woods, walking in the park. Always, always, always. Parents, if our parents would have said we're going to register you for an exercise program, we would have thought they were nuts. And we got that at school anyway in PE. And I was talking with Keith about this. Isn't it sad that our schools have dropped a lot of the PE programs? That's so sad.
Yeah,
But they bought a lot of computers.
But here's the deal. Is we were talking about we don't spend enough time with our kids today. Our kids got so much free time, and I'll tell you what, I really believe that the more free time, I know it, the more free time our children have, the more trouble they get into.
That sounds right.
We got to keep those little contracts that they made when they were little and keep them hardwired and in place. And that means we got to do things with our kids. That means we got to get our kids involved in sports. We got to get our kids involved in physical activity. May it be the gym, boxing, martial arts, judo, dance, whatever it is. What, Keith, jump in. Help me with this.
Yeah, no, it's imperative to introduce just a desire to take part in physical activity in children at a young age. You know, it sticks with them their whole life. It's something that they're going to carry with them. And, you know, if they don't become interested in it at a young age, it's a lot harder to get into it at a later age. And there's a lot of consequences
Right.
and, you know, risks to not being physically in shape and just adhering to a healthy diet plan and things of that nature.
Plus, it's a self-esteem issue, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, when we don't work out and we start not being as strong as some other people, we can't hold our own, kids lose self-esteem. They don't feel as good as.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for sure that when I'm dealing with kids and there's a problem with their PE, they're not dressing. Why is it that they're not dressing? It's a very simple answer. It's their self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because they're out of shape and they feel embarrassed. So, and that's something that I got to deal with all the time. And I'll tell you what, when I have 3 kids, and we put them in baseball, and we put them in soccer, and we put them in this, and we put them with that. And Kirsten, she I mean, God bless her, she dragged them to everything, even when I couldn't go. But the reality is, you know, something they didn't like the the bowling, or they didn't like the soccer, or they did, but they wasn't their thing. Then we just kept doing different things,
Right, till you found
until
something.
we found what it was. For my boys, it was martial arts.
Okay.
They got their 2nd and 3rd degree black belts, and that's
Wow.
what they're on fire. You've seen them over at the
I've
gym.
met them a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, and their self-esteem is terrific because of that. And they stayed out of trouble, really, because they were too busy. My daughter, Courtney jumped right into horseback riding.
And she does very well with that.
No, she does very well. She was at a show this weekend and killed it.
But she loves it.
I mean, she got
Yeah.
blue medals, blue ribbons, which is 1st place. She's got 2nd places. She just killed it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So their self-esteem, and because of that, they're staying out of that trouble that we don't want our kids to be in. So it is so important. You wrote a book. I think this is the coolest little book.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Isn't this cool?
It is. It
It's,
is. I actually had a chance to. I looked it up online because it's available on Amazon, and then I read a little bit because I was curious to see how the Dr. Seuss rhyming went with it.
Right.
Worked very well.
It's Fitz and Fry's Galactic Workout, written by Keith Oden. Art by, I'm not even going to tell you, but I'll tell you where you can say it.
Yeah, art by R.M. Florendo. He's a great artist.
Yeah, show him,
great
put it
job.
in front of the camera so
All
people
right.
can kind of
For
see
those
it.
watching,
Hey.
And you can
There's
pick
the
that
camera.
book up where?
it's available on Amazon, right?
Yes, that's what I do the publishing through, and it's available on Amazon.com. And you just type in Fitz and Fry, like Fitz, and Fry, Fry, and it should pop up right at top.
You know, when I was young, we were always active. We were always doing something, fishing, very outdoors, and we grew up in Alaska. But our dad was a very good boxer, so he taught both my brother and I how to box. And I remember Dad coming home one time, my brother and I were just young boys, and he said, I've signed you up with the boys club to go on this boxing program that they have. And we went, and the guy that ran it was a pro boxer, and I got to tell you, I thought I was in shape. I thought I knew how to box. Man, at the end of that workout, we were toast.
Yeah,
we were toast. And I have to come clean here, Cary. I have to tell you, the first boxing match I had, which was just a impromptu thing that the guy set it up,
Right.
I got wiped.
Did you?
I sure did.
Boxing is cardio.
You know those big
It's
adult
hard.
gloves? when
I
you're a
did it
kid?
for years when I was
Yeah.
a kid, too. Yes.
Yeah, those big adult gloves.
I
That's what
know
they had
all
us-
about it.
At first, I was able to hold them up, but by the end of the match, I was dragging them on the floor.
Oh, they turn into anchors, like by the end. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I fell in love with it. The guy that he actually was dating my mother, his name was Ron Henriquez. I won't tell you where he is now, but it's not good. But he was ranked number 3 in the world and number 5 in the world by
Wow.
the different ratings, and he was. I spent a lot of time with that guy.
Really?
Yeah. So, but it kept me out of trouble until I got in trouble, and then it was too late, and I was far gone. But that's why it's so important to keep our kids involved in some kind of physical, social activities. Kids that are not involved in physical, social activities get bored. And what happens when adolescents get bored? They get in trouble. So we have to take care of business. And you know what? If that means going from one sport to another, from soccer to baseball, from baseball to boxing, from boxing to LA Fitness, or whatever the deal is, we got to find that little magic that works for our kids, and that means work.
That's right.
You know, no one said being a parent's easy, but I'll tell you what.
And whoever said it wasn't a parent.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what, if you're adult enough to have a child, you better be adult enough to be a parent, and that means taking care of all the business that you need to do. That means being there for your kids. That means finding the things that work for your child. And I'll tell you what, I don't even want to hear any whining. Again, if you're adult enough to have a kid, be adult enough to be a parent.
That's right.
Guess what time it is?
It's time to take a break.
Is that what it is? You want to take us out? Or should we let Keith do it? Now he wouldn't know what to do yet. Yeah, next time.
Next time. I'll get it.
You're listening to Families in Action right here on KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to Families in Action right here on KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station.
Hey, you know what? Before you read that, if anybody's interested in asking Keith any questions, you can call us.
That's right.
Yeah, you can call us live. You can jump right on the phone with us by dialing 298-5487. That's 661-298-5487. And if not, you can always download this or go on Family AM 1220's website, and you can podcast it. And we're on cable TV.
We are.
So every Monday at
Right.
4 o'clock, if you have Time Warner, you can watch us on channel 20. And also, other channels you'd have to check and see what time.
We're all over the place.
But we're all over the place. We're pretty easy to listen to. That's exactly right. So go on, Mike, and take it over.
Cary,
Yes.
you're going to enjoy this. I'm going to read a passage from Fitz and Fry's Galactic workout.
I want to hear this.
Are you ready for this?
I read it, but go for it.
All right.
Far beyond the distant skies, way past the stars where the comets fly, live two young brothers, Fitz and Fry. They're Martians who love to exercise.
Who wrote that?
It wasn't me.
Keith, very good. I have a question to ask you before I read the next bit. What is planking?
Planking is a core exercise. It's a pretty popular one. You get in what is similar to a push-up position, except you're on your elbows. You want your body to be pretty flat. And, you want to squeeze your core, and you're just going to hold that position for anywhere between 30 to 2 minutes if you want to, if you can do that. And that really strengthens the core. You'll start to feel the burn around 30 for sure.
Now everybody will understand why I ask you that in a moment, because I'm
Okay.
going to read another page,
All right.
which you will be very familiar with.
All right.
Who knew exercise could be so much fun? We'll do pull-ups on Pluto and planks on the sun. All the places we'll plank, there's 1,000,001. There's no end to the planking once planking is begun.
All right.
Now, doesn't that remind you of Dr. Seuss? I mean, did you used to read
does.
Dr. Seuss to your
I
children?
did, yep. But I'll tell you what, planking and all that's addicting.
And you do it.
Well, I stopped exercising a whole boatload of years ago, and then about a year and a half ago, I started again, and I haven't turned back. I mean, it's 3-4 times a week, period, in this subject, no matter what. And it really is addicting. In fact, even the burn is addicting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's something you become absolutely addicted to, and I got to do it every day. Got to do it.
Does Cary read this book while he's doing it?
No, Keith reads it out loud to me,
does it?
okay?
Oh, I see.
I'm reading out
It's his
loud while he's
book.
doing
Do
it.
those
Yeah.
planks.
He says, do those planks, and then he reads. No.
It's his motivation.
What inspired you to
motivation.
write this book?
I've been writing pretty much my whole life. I did a lot of music production and songwriting throughout my childhood and into adulthood. And as a personal trainer, a lot of my clients are parents,
Right.
and I would often be asked, "Hey, how can I get my kid interested in exercising? What's safe for him to do? I want him off his iPad. That's all he wants to do, or she wants to do." And I did some research, and it was difficult to find an exercise book that was appealing to children.
Right.
So, I figured I just sat down one day and started writing, and, this was the finished product, and it came out pretty well. I like it a lot.
So do I. You know what I like really about it? It's very simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for kids, things need to be simple. And for parents, I hate to say it, things need to be simple.
That's true.
So this really is, it's a good starting point to really open up a conversation with your child and to get them involved in sports and something like that. And Keith, if they wanted to get involved with you, what would they do?
Yeah, I'm at LA Fitness pretty much 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. I'm there all the time. And outside of that, I can be contacted at odenentertainment@gmail.com. So ODEN entertainment @gmail.com. So anybody who has any questions, I'd love to hear from you guys. Always happy to help.
How did you get into bodybuilding? And
I mean, growing up, I was pretty thin. I always played sports, but naturally very thin, and always kind of the scrawny kid, you know.
Right.
So
you're not so scrawny anymore.
Yeah, not so much. I try not to, you know.
Yeah.
But when it was something I learned I could change, I could do with a little determination and work. When I realized it's something I can use to improve myself, I really just got into it. I started reading and researching and looking up proper programs, like how many sets of this do I need to do to build my arms, how many reps of this. So that's pretty much what got me into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
and it's never too late, is it?
Oh, never. It's never too late. I see 70-year-old men in the gym in awesome shape, you know, just ripped. So
I'm glad he said that. As the silver fox.
Are you planning?
Silver fox.
Are you planning on coming to the gym with us?
I'm not going to come to the gym.
Why not?
I exercise at home. I told you that. I do exercises. Look,
Mike, you need to come to the gym.
he keeps wanting me to come to the
Keith wants you to come.
Yeah,
to the
come
gym.
in. We'll have some fun.
Yeah.
We'll hit the battle ropes with Cary.
Yeah. The battle rope. So we did that last week, didn't we?
That was
Friday.
good.
You're setting me up. You know what I've got to say to everybody listening out there.
Hey, Mike, you're
there's
changing
a
the
lot-
subject. We want
That's
you
right.
at the gym.
That's right. I'm changing the subject. I'm ignoring Cary. But people listening to the show right now have to understand, a lot of times you listen to a radio show like this, and the hosts or the host are not in good shape, and they're talking to somebody. I got to say, for those, they can tune into YouTube. Cary, I know you worked out today.
I do.
I worked out today. I imagine Keith did.
Yep.
And I don't know. Should we ask him?
You can.
You work out today?
Not
I
yet.
can tell.
Not
But you're
yet.
in shape. But look at him. He's in shape. He's thin.
I will be. I will be when I get off. Don't worry.
Uh-huh.
All right.
There you go. Okay, so see, there we go. We're talking about, we're doing what we're talking about, right?
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. But that's why it's so important to do this thing. And I believe that if you're going to work out, I mean, everybody that's listening, you'll feel so much better about yourself. I can't tell you how much more energy I have and how much more alive that I feel in the last year and a half since I made a decision to really do this.
That's a big part of it, is the energy that you feel.
Oh, yeah.
You really feel very good. It's very stimulating. It's very good for you.
I was messing with my kids. They're workout buffs, and I was doing something a couple months ago with them for the first time over at the gym, and they went, "Where'd you get all the stamina?"
Yeah.
More than ever.
Where'd it come from?
Yeah.
Keith, what kind of advice do you have for parents out there that
or anyone in general?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
how do you get your kids interested in being in shape? I mean, since they're not out there playing basketball and doing this and doing that, and they're sitting around for 7.5 hours or more, looking at some screen. How do you get them? How do you encourage them to break that mold and get the kids to get out there?
That's a good question. You know, I'd really just say first and foremost, like, get out there and do it with them. You know, be a part of their life and do that with them. It's something that if you guys can connect and bond over something like that, it'll stick with them. And you know, if they see you like doing it and there's health benefits to it, they're gonna want to do it. They're gonna want to be excited about it. And again, that's why it's important to introduce it at an early age, because then it's not so much of a battle. It's not, you know, if you introduce it to them and it's a part of who they are as they grow, that's who they are. You don't have to.
That's right.
You're not going against the grain later.
And
that's such a good thing. That's such a good point, because when people bring their kids to me, they're in trouble.
Yes.
They're already, I mean, they work out, forget it. The only thing they're going to be doing is lifting up the bong.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already in trouble, and now our job is to get them off the drugs, clean their heads out a little bit, and get them more motivated to start doing stuff. But if you get your children involved in this kind of stuff when they're young, I won't probably have to get them.
And I was just going to say, I remember when I was a boy growing up that when mom or dad would say, hey, come on, we're going to go out in the backyard and do a family baseball game. And they were a lot of silly fun.
Yes.
I mean, we weren't really keen on hitting the ball hard and running. We just had a lot of fun doing it together. And we actually had a family baseball game right after we had my mom's funeral service.
Did you?
We did. We all went out and we thought Mom would just love this. So we went out and we played a few.
How cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's pretty
Very,
cool.
very, very cool. So, but the reality is there are so many kids in so much trouble today. And there's so much different kinds of peer pressure than ever before with all the social media stuff like that. And we spend such little time hanging out with our kids, and they spend so much time hanging out with everybody else, that we have to find it. We have to get them involved in stuff when they're younger. We have to. I mean, if we want to beat substance abuse and we want to keep our kids healthy, clean, and safe, we got to get them involved in sports. We got to get them involved in activities. We got to get them involved in something. Period. Kids that are bored, that's a recipe for disaster.
Well, there's a couple of things, when you're doing when you're exercising, you're also doing this. But when you're doing things like my favorite sport for doing it was skiing. I also played baseball, and I loved that. I was a pitcher, and here was the thing. Two things. One, the challenge.
Yes.
Can I do this? I'm going to push myself a little bit today and see if I can make these kind of turns that I haven't been doing so well on the skis. But what a great workout. I mean, when you ski, you use muscles you didn't even know you had. It's just a phenomenal workout. And that's what I see kids doing when they're doing that kind of thing. They're pushing themselves a little bit. They're challenging themselves, and it's wonderful for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another benefit of it. Physical activity, sports, getting involved in it at a young age, it teaches discipline. It teaches perseverance.
Right.
You want to quit sometimes. That's part of life. Things get rough, and you want to quit, and you want to go the easy way out, and go into some things that are a lot easier and make you feel better. But it really teaches you. You got to push through some stuff, and just wanting to be better at a sport or wanting to have a better ski run. Those are things that teach you to work hard.
Well, let me ask you, what's the big benefit for somebody getting their child interested in physical fitness? Is that's going to pay off later in life, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it can prevent so many things, such as like type 2 diabetes. There's a lot of chronic diseases that are related to a lack of exercise and poor eating habits, So early introductions, huge.
And we talk about that over at Henry Mayo all the time.
We do, but you know what? I've even seen adults that are starting to work out right now that are insulin dependent that aren't insulin dependent anymore.
Yeah.
They're actually they're feeling and doing way better. So there's so many benefits even as an adult. It's never too late to start working out.
Right.
And by the way, when a kid starts feeling good about himself, it's awful hard to make decisions that help them feel bad now. They want to make decisions that are good. They want to feel better. Their self-esteem is not going to allow them to make the mistakes that they would if they had low self-esteem.
And Cary, what do you see when you see somebody that's getting clean and sober, and they start doing physical things? What do you see? What happens?
It's amazing because we get so many kids that are coming, especially with the marijuana today and the potency of it, and they come in and their mind they're fogged. They don't even know what's going on. And as we start cleaning them up, their memory starts coming back a little bit. Their motivation starts coming. All of a sudden, their grades get better. And we find so many kids that are actually they want to go to the gym now. They want to start building up their body because it's not just a spiritual, emotional, it's a physical thing. As we fix our bodies, we feel better. That's why in our rehabs, we bring our patients to the gym 3 times a week.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah, we do. Because as they start feeling they're starting to lose a little bit of weight, they're starting to tighten up a little bit, that's something you can notice pretty quickly. You're getting more stamina, so you start feeling good about yourself. You don't want to blow that.
And it also kind of brings back better memories, doesn't it? Oh, I'm feeling, back to my old self here.
Absolutely. So the more we can do to help people physically, emotionally, spiritually, the better shot they have as recovery. And kids especially, hey, I'll tell you what, they haven't been using that long. So the quicker we intervene, the quicker we start getting them to do physical stuff, feeling better about themselves, the better shot they have as for recovery.
We should probably mention once again, Keith, where your book is available.
Yeah, it's currently available on Amazon.com.
And it's called Fritz and Fry's Galactic Workout.
Yeah, so you just type that into the Amazon search bar. It should pop up right at the top. You could type that in, or you could just type in my name, Keith, Keith, space Oden, and it should pop up right there for you. You know, I think it's a great tool for parents to use. It's great for kids aged 2 to 10, you know.
And this is a good way to kind of introduce them.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is.
Now, are you a Dr. Seuss fan?
You know, I was a huge Dr. Seuss fan.
There you go. I could tell that just by reading this.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to a Dr. Seuss book. So
you would know what Dr. Seuss's real name was?
No.
Uh-oh, I stumped the man.
Only
Sorry
you
about
would
that.
probably know that, Mike. Okay, what is it?
What is it?
Theodore Geisel.
Theodore Geisel. I would
Dr.
not have,
Theodore Geisel.
would not have guessed it.
No, I wouldn't have. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That really is. But
I
you know
love
what? We're talking and we're keeping it light today, but the reality is not so light.
No.
Substance abuse is off the hook right now. We're having an epidemic. There's almost 50,000 people losing their lives to the most preventable deal there is, which is accidental overdose. 50,000. Then we're not talking about the suicides because of substance abuse, rapes, date rapes, abuse. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. The jails are full of people, and I tell you what, a huge percentage of people in jail right now are there because of substance abuse. So we're just talking about accidental overdoses.
Well, we talked about this some weeks ago, Cary, where we were talking about the fact that people are these accidental overdoses in the hospital. They're seeing such an increase in these. It's so sad.
Well, I was talking to Dr. Privet. We're going to do something with the Channel 4 News on heroin because it's such an epidemic. Everybody's frightened. And you know what? I was talking to Phil, one of the producers over at Channel 4, and he says he was talking to Privet. And what really got his attention, and this is true, is when somebody comes in and they're overdosed, they're dying.
Yes.
We give them medicine to save their life. Some of these people are actually angry. What did you give me? You messed up my high. Mm-hmm. That's all they really care about. They don't realize, hey, if we didn't give you this, you'd be dead. They're just thinking, well, my high.
How's that for a downer?
It's pretty serious.
It sure is.
But you know what I do for a living? I mean, I go to the hospital. I deal with people. They got tubes in every hole in their body, tubes where there is no holes. And they're just about dead, and we're doing interventions, and they're going, oh, no, I don't need rehab. I just used too much this one time. The drugs are so powerful over them emotionally, not just physically. Physical addiction is easy.
And you've seen...
I can detox anybody. I can give them some medicine, put them in a closet for 3 days, and they'll be okay. It's the emotional addiction that's the hardest to deal with.
And you mentioned something that I've followed up with you several times on before, because you've said this. How many times has somebody got clean and sober and went out and said, oh, just one more time for old time's sake, and they wind up dead?
So many. That's another thing. I'm actually changing the way I'm doing treatment.
Really?
Yeah, because in our treatment centers, we still believe in abstinence. You don't drink, you don't use, you can have no problems when it comes to drinking and using. But so many people that are dying, a large number of those 47,000 people that are losing their lives actually were sober for a while. Mm-hmm. And when they started picking up, they're chasing that original high, that great feeling. And they use a little bit, it's not there. They use a little bit more, it's not there. So just a little bit more. But that little bit more kills them. So their body can't handle what their mind wants. On that note, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back. This is Families in Action on your local hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.